Perfect. Welcome back, Senpais, to Nagatoro Second Attack every week. I think that's what I decided to call it.
That's what we're going with?
I think so, yeah.
I like it. Simple, to the point. They know what they're about here.
Exactly. And we're back. Like I said, we're going to do the weekly thing again, so we only have one episode this time. But just because it's, one episode as opposed to the 4, I think it was last time. We'll have plenty to talk about here because this is a pretty big episode. This is the reversal of episode 4 where Nagatoro is sick. Senpai's sick now. Hijinks ensue. It's a classic chapter to us manga readers, and I'm glad the anime onlys can finally enjoy it.
Yes, indeed. This is a good episode. It's a great episode. But dare I say, one of the best episodes we've had so far.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good. Whoa.
Yeah.
What was some of the stuff? All right. Bye, everybody.
That's the show. That's it. That's the episode.
All right. Well, I do have notes, and I do want to talk about some things. Let's start. I'm gonna start with
Get right into it.
A nitpick I have, a long-running nitpick. It's really no fault of the episode itself, but it's something I want to get off my chest. If come to think of it, I probably might have already said this on another episode, but fuck it, I'm saying it again anyway. I don't like Nagatoro's yellow sweater. I don't like it.
Ooh. Interesting. Expand upon us.
I just don't really like yellow much as a color. I don't think it looks good on her. That's all I'll say.
I think the winter uniforms are cute. That's all I've got to say about that.
Well, I mean, I usually like winter uniforms and stuff and like stuff like this, because the summer uniform is always just like, well, they just don't wear the overshirt, and it's just kind of boring looking. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's like just wearing a sweater. I don't think that's the problem. It's just I don't know. It's just kind of a bland sweater. I don't really care for it.
It's just the colors, you think?
Yeah, it's kind of a dull color. I don't need like a graphic or anything on it. But I am usually a fan of when they have like English words on them, because they usually barely make any sense.
I do love that,
and it's always pretty funny.
Would you be more of a fan? Okay, but you said that I guess the sweater's not the problem. But what do you think? Okay, let's talk winter uniforms in anime in general. You got the sweater like we have here. What about the blazer?
Well, like I was saying, I usually like the winter uniforms, or at least the spring uniforms, whatever you want to call them. At least in like the Persona games and stuff, because that's they have their full uniforms with the blazer, and I like the blazers. They usually look pretty good, as opposed to the summer uniform, which is just kind of the undershirt. I don't like that. Okay. But I understand why you wouldn't want to wear a blazer in summer. So
I don't really have any big thoughts on the color. I think the main reason I like the change so much is simply, like you said, it's just normally like the undershirt, which is so plain, and there's really just nothing else to it. That it's just a good change of pace to that.
You make a good point. I don't think anyone will argue that the regular uniforms, for at the very least in Nagatoro or anything to write home about, it's actually a pretty bland design for the uniforms.
I hope someone argues with me. Sound off in the comments. Let's get into it.
Yes. Sound off if you think that the uniforms in Nagatoro are really good. Like them a lot.
Give us that interaction, those impressions.
Yeah, we want. Oh, we crave them. We crave them. If we're gonna go, I have a few more nitpicks, or just like small observations. But I don't know what your sub said, but in the like little cold open section where like they're like, oh, we accidentally hold hands. What the fuck? That part when Nagatoro greets him, she doesn't say she does like the motion, and you know how they always translate it in the manga as sup senpai. They're always saying sup.
Mm-hmm.
And in this translation I got, they she doesn't say that. You know what she says instead? She says top of the morning. She
We absolutely got different subs this time because all my sub said was, I'm just going back and looking at it as you're saying this. They both just say good morning Nagatoro, good morning senpai, and that's
okay.
it.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I I did notice that Nagatoro says like, I don't want to accidentally mess up my audio by like putting on the audio in this, but she says something that's not just like good
She
morning.
does
She
the
says something slightly
whole
different.
she does like the whole Ohio gozaimasu
Yeah.
thing. I think that's the more formal version of it, which is why I think he was caught off guard.
Top of the morning's a little, that's an interesting one.
Yeah. It's she was watching a little too much Jacksepticeye before.
It's true.
Well,
Maybe
while
she's
she
a
was
little she's a
staying
little bit of a
home.
Westaboo.
Yeah.
Might I ask where you are watching the sub?
No, you can't.
Okay.
Don't ask.
On Crunchyroll.com, right?
Uh, tell you what, Crunchyroll, you get me a promo code, and we'll see what we can do from there.
Well, I mean, where else would you watch? I mean, it's where you legally stream into the US. I don't know where anyone else would watch it.
Putting that aside,
Put it yeah.
Did you notice? Were you as like, this felt like almost a jump scare. They show his mom. They show Senpai's mom in this episode.
I don't exactly recall how much of her we saw, but it did jump scare me that she just looks like him.
It's they like didn't even try.
They're just copy pasted characters. I thought that was really funny.
It was very funny, and I looked this up after because I was like, they're just like straight up showing her. They're not even making a thing of it. So I looked it up, and like you see her, but Nanashi didn't draw her face. So this is, I guess, technically a debut of some sort for her design.
Anime original lore.
Yeah. And you know, whether or not you want to take that into consideration at all is, I guess, up to you, because it's technically not original to the manga as far as I'm aware.
I'm gonna take a long reach with this. I'm gonna make some headcanon and say the genes are strong in this family.
Well, we haven't seen the dad yet.
It's true. We haven't seen the dad yet. However, for all those people out there that like their fan fiction, like their fan theories, Senpai and Nagatoro children someday, I think they're all gonna look like him.
That's
it. Look, I'll $50 on this. When the manga, okay, look, if the manga finishes and we get like an afterwards, like 20 years later chapter where they're married and have the kids, if their kids look like him, $50 on it. I don't need anything from you. I'll just say I'll give you $50. I don't know. Or if they don't look like him, I'll give you $50.
I mean, I'm sure they'll probably do the shit they always do, where it's like,
I'm that confident.
Boy looks like dad, girl looks like kid, wife.
That's a cop out. That's for cowards. That's the cowards option.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just usually what happens, or they do like a reverse, where it's like the boy looks like the girl.
I've never been a fan of that because, like, are you aware of Takagi-san, member of the teasing genre, if you will?
Takagi-san was the first one of these I ever read.
Yeah, Takagi-san. If
so
for
I know
those
exactly
of you
where you're
out
going
there, yes, has a spin-off series where they are just adults and are married and have a child, and the child is essentially just like infant. I don't know.
Again.
I guess she's not an infant, but just like elementary school Takagi. It's very funny.
Yeah, I do think it's very funny that the author of that was just like, oh my fucking whatever, and he just draws another series where they're already married, like it's a foregone conclusion. I just thought that was funny.
I just thought that was neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting seeing his mother for the first time in this show. It just hit me like a fucking sledgehammer to the face.
Yeah, I have to wonder what'll come of this. I mean, I can't imagine
what lasting implications can this have.
I can't imagine she's gonna be a very major character ever. So like maybe I assume they got input from Nanashi or whatever. They didn't just like go off on their own and just like just make her look like him. I don't fucking care.
Yeah, I don't think she'll really have any major appearances in the manga outside of maybe one or two future chapters, maybe.
I guess they just
Because
figured since the way like the scenes are shot, they kind of like they could have done the she doesn't have a face thing, but I mean I've said this a couple times. I always think it looks kind of jarring in the anime when they do that. So maybe they wanted to avoid that, and like, why would his mom not have a face? Because it doesn't make any sense from Senpai's perspective, because he's known her all his life. So yeah, maybe they like kind of felt backed into a corner, and we're just like, Nanashi, what does his mom look like? And he was like, I don't
I,
know.
I've always liked the implication in series where like the faces aren't drawn or shown is that for like main characters like Senpai, it's supposed to imply that they aren't like making eye contact with people or looking them in the eye or in the
Yeah,
face.
I think that's
And
the
in this
idea.
sense, in this context, it would make sense that it's like, oh, he's familiar with his mom, their family. Obviously, he
Exactly.
looks her in
Yeah.
the eye.
So I guess they just figured they couldn't do that, and I completely agree with them. That wouldn't make any sense from that perspective,
I
which is what I
I
assume
th-
they're doing.
I think it was a good choice, a nice little thing to add.
That was a good choice. But the debates will rage endlessly, especially if Nanashi like draws his mom and she looks completely different, and then like, stinky, they're gonna be in trouble. But
Someone's gonna send some bad messages on Twitter.
oh yeah,
Not us, of course.
they're the Japanese Twitter viewers are gonna like brigade the anime studio and beg them to redo the show or whatever.
True. Nagatoro Gaiden season
Do you imagine? Hmm.
2.
Yeah, and like the again, this is another episode where there isn't really like distinct segments. It's kind of just one long thing where like he's sick and she has to take care of him, and I like that. I like that they don't feel beholden to like the 2 segment format that the show kind of started out as, and just kind of do whatever the fuck they want.
This is probably one of the. It's one of like the kind of. It's one of few story arcs in early Nagatoro, I would say, but it's also one that like kind of shows how their relationship is growing, and how they're like
Oh yeah,
more aware of their emotions towards each other. I guess you would say.
yeah.
So it's like Nagatoro is just like standing over his senpai's bed while she's feeding him, and he's groggy or incoherent from being sick, and he calls her by her first name, and she's just like, "Come on, say it again, please say it again, god damn it," begging him.
It is,
Almost.
yeah. This is in scenes like that. It's basically a completely different show.
Mhm.
That's what we like to call progress, my friends.
The
I don't
peak.
think you can call it anything else. It may not be to the final goal, but it's there.
Slowly but surely it will be made.
Mm. There wasn't really a lot on I don't want to say it was like an isolated episode, but like Nagatoro's friends only show up at the beginning and the end.
Yeah, they're kind of just there for the gags of them like holding hands or touching,
Yeah.
and just to like there to, I guess they're there to make that happen or to make them like even more uncomfortable in the moment.
Yes. Yes.
I do like the bit of I'm not actually holding your hand, I'm actually like judo throwing him.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And just like the whole like they just like immediately like yeah, no you're not. They don't yes and or anything. 'Cause they don't fucking care. It's pretty good. I liked it.
Mm-hmm. Is there really too much more about this episode to talk about? I'm honestly having trouble thinking of more. I think it's pretty short and to the point.
Yeah. Well, we could talk about Senpai's room. What do you think about his room?
I think it's very. I don't think there's much to say about Senpai's room either. It's very plain, if not barren.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like
So let's
there's.
discuss where does he hide them? Where does he hide them, Evange?
I think under the bed,
Under the bed?
probably like between the mattress and the box spring. Because like I don't.
That's a
I have
pretty
to like go
dangerous
back and
spot
look.
for him. He was he got flustered. He got flustered, and like it's the classic cliche of like where are the adult magazines that you somehow managed to get.
Yes, but
And he did get a little more upset when she was starting to look. I think it was under the bed.
But he got flustered because she said like every different piece of furniture was in a room, and he got like flustered after every single thing she said. So either Senpai's just he's got little bits everywhere, or not.
Uh,
Who knows? Who could say?
who can say exactly? But yeah, it was a pretty slick move of him to pretend to be sick so that she would stop asking about it. Pretty good. It's pretty good.
Very big brain.
Where would you hide them, Evange?
Hmm. That's a good question. Let's see. Thinking back to high school me, what would I have done if I was trying to hide something in my bedroom? I used to have. Okay. Did you ever have like a junk drawer in your house or in your bedroom that was just shit from your whole life essentially? Just like you just kind of throw stuff in there.
No.
Okay. Well, since you completely cannot relate to this problem, I'll continue explaining it in further detail.
No, please
So
do.
it's just pretty much just a drawer, which is just full of crap, old crap you've had your whole life. Just probably in the bottom of there would be a good bet. Because who
Good
wants
bet.
to dig through all that shit?
True. What do you think of the hiding in plain sight method?
That's bold.
It's bold, but I feel it has its perks. Uh, it's just a matter of like how conspicuous can you make it, you know? Like if someone doesn't know, like hypothetically, let's say, if someone doesn't know what Bible Black is, they're not going to look at it on your shelf and be like, "What is this?" and then pull it out and then be like, "Oh, well, you just have this."
Are you speaking from experience here?
No, this is a hypothetical. I just told you at the beginning it was hypothetical.
Completely hypothetical, of course.
But like, it's on the shelf. It's next to uh, fucking B movie. You got B movie. You got Bible Black. And you got
Arranged alphabetically, of course.
oh yeah, of course. Yeah, you got Coheed and Cambria live. Like no one's gonna notice or think anything of something called Bible Black unless they
Sure,
know.
it just
Then
sounds like an
like
album
and yeah, exactly. And if they
name. Funny
know,
little movie.
then that kind of leaves them into a certain catch-22 as well. Admittedly, you're there's only so much you can do in that situation, but it's some sort of deterrent, I would say.
I think that's a high risk, high reward strategy.
It gives you a great sense of self-satisfaction, I'd say. This is like another day. The rubes have fallen for it again. God, I'm good. I in this hypothetical situation.
Hypothetical, of course.
Hmm. Hmm. Wasn't there a magic reference in another episode? Am I like am I talking nonsense?
I can barely remember what happened last season, let alone the specific episode.
I know it's been so long, and I would love to have rewatched it on like say a Blu-ray or something, but I don't think there is one. At least not over here.
That's incredibly surprising to me.
I know. Let me look this up. I'm gonna look this up right now.
Let's get to the bottom of this.
Ooh. I mean, there's definitely one in Japan.
Of course.
It's just a matter of did it make the did it make it out over here?
Not on Amazon. Interesting.
I guess not. Don't fuck with me, Miss Nagatoro. Yeah, they never released one over here. I wonder who King Records. Okay. So yeah, I don't know what the deal is with that, what the holdup is. They should definitely get on that though.
Yeah, viewers, blow up their social media. Let them know. Let them know what we
Uh,
want.
our loyal viewers, if you would, seize them.
Take back what's ours.
Precisely. We have to. Never mind. Yeah. Obviously, we've run out of shit to talk about in record time. Woo. Uh, Nagatoro every week. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Hey.
Second attack. Woo. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. You know what I will say? I actually do have a few things to say. Is that just because of the format of anime, I do think that like when like the reveal of when he like says her name, just the way it's done, it doesn't feel as uh potent as it was in the manga, because in the manga, you know, it gets like a full page spread and everything, and then whereas in the anime, I don't know, it just feels a little lesser here.
I agree with that completely.
Mm, okay, well,
The impact of like manga panels just like being there and just like looking at it like in its entirety. I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but like versus it just like happening and then being gone a moment later in like animation, the impact is so different. Especially if it's something like, have you ever like read a manga or something, or even just like something online where just like the impact of turning a page and all of a sudden just like getting hit with like a panel or something you didn't expect, it hits so differently than most anime can, in my opinion.
yeah, it's a pretty common issue, I guess, with a lot of anime. It's not really a Nagatoro exclusive one.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Am I becoming a manga truther? Maybe.
Join us.
I will say I do think the scene immediately after the romance is a lot is laid on much thicker, I think, just because of the performances by the lady who voices Nagatoro. I think that's something that anime, you know, you can always kind of, it can always get an edge in that spot,
Absolutely.
at least.
I think they did that. I think they did that justice.
So you know, it's kind of a mixed bag there. Not to say that the episode was bad though. I actually
Not at
liked it,
all.
and
10 out of 10 episode.
10 out of 10 episode. I'll give it
As always.
I'll give it like a 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 episode.
This guy calls himself a Nagatoro fan.
I'm just so critical, you know. I'm a bigger fan because I know when to I know when to call them out, you know.
Call them bullshit.
Yeah, I call them out on their bullshit. I make sure that they don't get away with the subpart product. So yeah, all right. I guess that's it. But we'll be back again next week to discuss even more Nagatoro. There's always more to discuss until there isn't. So I guess until then, thanks for listening. Sorry, it was kind of quick, but what are you gonna do? You want us to just stammer on about hiding spots for unmentionables for another 20 minutes? I don't know if I could, even if I wanted to.
Hear that in the Patreon.
The Patreon, man.
What the hell did we talk about in a Patreon episode?
The webcomic. Oh,
Ooh.
we never talked about the webcomic in detail.
Episode? I like where you're going with this.
I don't want to do it unless my hand is forced, because I think
Coming
I did
soon to a theater near you.
I think I did talk about it at least a little bit in the Shambhala one, but you know, it's a deep dive. It's like third layer on the Nagatoro iceberg.
Nah, that's the webcomic is like, it's like the second layer. You know, if you're reading it, you know.
I don't know. I mean, not since the anime. If the anime came out and like you have like a whole new group of people who only watch the anime. Like my friend, the one I had on for the Urusei Yatsura quarterly report, I like he watched the anime, but he did not. I mean, he obviously knows about the manga. He does not know about the webcomic. I don't think he does.
Interesting.
And on that note, also there was like a section in this episode where now I just think I just see Lum everywhere. But she was when they were like when they were fighting over Senpai's sleeve and she's like jumping around all over the place. She was making a lot of poses that reminded me of Lum.
You are right. She was kind of floating around in the air. I noticed
Yeah, it was like she was floating. Maybe I'm just based and Lum pilled. Who can say? All right, no, but really though. All right, we're done now for reals this time.
that. We'll see you next week, everybody.
Yes, of course. See you next week, senpais. Goodbye.
Good night.